That's it, Dave. And you accused me of that.
I'm not allowed to hold grudges.
Sir?
I'm not allowed to hold grudges.
Good, me either.
My wife won't let me.
Good for her.
Most of them got these behind her neck. Couldn't resist that.
That's a good one.
All right, Randy, you got a comment?
I served on the town board when I was in Elnora, and we ran through some of the same problems. And I can tell you that you have a great opportunity here as a city to do what you're doing. I live in the country, so yes, I don't have a dog in the fight, but I love the town of Odon as well. Okay. I work for the Indiana Railroad Company, who's building a brand new facility here. That was my idea 3 years ago. Mine.
Thank
Good
you.
for you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Now, there's a reason. I didn't want that to come there for us to make money as a railroad. I wanted it there for the town of Odon.
Absolutely.
To bring business here, okay? Because I love this place. I'm not from here, okay? So what I'm getting at with this, yes, it's a little bit of money to keep trash picked up, but from a board standpoint, it's a lot easier to keep your ordinance enforced than for
Absolutely.
people who are not following the rules at that time,
Well,
and keep your city cleaned up, okay? You have a perfect opportunity right now to expand this city to no end. You got I-69 at Crane and I-69 out here,
Yes, sir.
transload center in the city. You got opportunities for hotels to come here, new business. But if you don't clean this town up, I'll tell you what I told the people in Elnora when I was on the board, and I resigned. This town's gonna die. You don't clean this place up, trash is your first problem, engine blocks is your next, hanging in a tree. Folks won't come in here and build new homes, they want no part of Main Street. Look at Elnora now. Elnora's gonna die, and yes, the interstate's bypassed them, but it's gonna die. Nobody's gonna live over in that area, they don't wanna be there. And you can have the same problem here in Odon if you don't take care of business the way you need to. So I applaud your efforts, and I'll just tell you that.
Thank you, sir.
No one could have said it any better.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And Junior, appreciate your input, because
I could have.
you understand the value of free cycling. But getting people's pockets for $12 a week, and then you're into real hot water.
Well, as
Since we
John,
people
as
from
you're
far
saying,
away care.
if you can build your pot of money up to where you can reduce those rates, it's a win-win situation for everybody.
And here, along with this, and I wish those two gentlemen were still here, okay? The comment I made about McDonald's, we couldn't supply water, we're gonna have a real water issue. Why? We got, as Mr. Doug can tell you, one up in Bechtel Edition, a hydrant. Got, how much pressure has it got? Low?
From north of the VFW,
Oh,
20 pounds, it's right at the minimum,
Okay, it's at the minimum.
very close.
If we have a fire hydrant with less than minimum pressure, we cannot hook up a new customer with water. That includes business. I checked on it. We get money, we get grants to fix this problem. Well, they voted to raise the water rates 8 years ago, 9 years ago. Never got done. It was only like 2% every 2 years.
1.5%.
Okay, but it was never done. Now, when I call and say, hey, what's the possibility we'll get a grant started to fix our water issue? Well, what'd you do with your water rates? Well, we never implemented. Now, right now, you know what's gonna happen? We raise the water rates 1.5%. You know what they're gonna say? That's to pay for trash. You know, that's exactly what they're gonna say. And like I said, I don't care, but it's exactly what's gonna happen.
You do too.
But again, I will
I
tell
care
you,
about
you're
the town.
doing
I
the
don't care
right
what
thing.
people say.
If you want this city to grow and expand and get bigger and nicer, you want new business to come in here, you want new families to come and live here.
We're fortunate to get Indiana Railroad.
Yeah.
And if folks would look at the property tax we're gonna pay on a huge investment down there,
Increase this budget.
just think a little bit about
You know.
the advantage of making your town attractive. For God's sake, it don't take a genius to figure that one.
And how much did our base actually dropped this past year, correct? But our tax
Yeah.
rate actually dropped.
Yeah, like 255,000 or something.
Yeah.
Down
And that's
in one
because
area.
it's not fixed up. You know, well, that's less money you get, but that's less money to do anything.
But I can tell you, as long as we're shelling out $2,000 a month for legal costs,
Yes, sir.
not a hell of a lot's gonna get done around here anyway, so you might as well just let her happen.
Yep.
You know, I'm the president of a homeowners association in Bloomington. We have 102 units. The homeowners fee is $100 a month,
Yes, sir.
and we didn't have anybody came to our annual meetings. I said, our bylaws say that we can raise it 10% a year. I raised it.
You got them in.
We had a crowd,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and that's the way to get them there, but they still gotta pay.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, now we can do capital improvements, we can do roofs, we can fix things, fix those broken windows in those.
Yes, sir.
He's got it.
He's got,
All right, I'm ready to move on.
go right ahead, sir. You're the president.
It's been an interesting discussion, really has, and thanks everybody for their input, because these are things that need to be discussed if we're gonna make progress. And if we're not, we'll all pitch a tent somewhere.
All right,
I think we'll all go home free.
approval of the wastewater adjustments.
I move that we approve the wastewater adjustments where we are.
I've looked at them, that's on this sheet here, isn't it?
Yep.
$317.86 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
All legitimate reasons, I guess.
All these.
Yeah, and we hear more and more feedback about when we stamp the bills, people are really appreciative, so I'm glad that we're giving people that money. Probably not helping the water utility, but we are.
Tom made the motion,
I second that.
to be unanimous.
Keith, did you approve the minutes approved?
Not yet.
Okay, I was gonna say.
We're not doing that.
We didn't.
I'm not doing that tonight.
Okay.
The capping of abandoned property lines, what's this about?
Actually sewer lines. We talked about this here a while back on some of the properties that are being tore down.
Right.
Most times there's a locate comes in. But they're supposed to cap, when they tear the property down, cap our sewer lines. We had over 500,000 gallons of water the last rain we had, 2 days in a row, go through that sewer plant, and it's not designed to handle that much water. And a lot of it is infiltration. It's an old system, but every time they tear a house down and they don't cap off that sewer line, that's another 6-inch hole. The water, mud, rock, everything get worse into our system out in our plant. I'm not sure how the ordinance reads on that. If something would fall under the ordinance officer, if you see the property being tore down,
Well, it's an ordinance, isn't it?
Yes.
it
Code enforcement? Yes. Good call on them, but it's,
is capped and inspected before they're done with the project, and if not, they have to dig back up and let us inspect it or something to avoid this. And there's just been several properties that I can think of in the last 4 or 5 years.
the question is how you gonna know about it?
Well, I'm around town enough to know, I
But-
see these properties.
But I
Get
guess
some permit of construction or destruction.
I guarantee you,
Yeah, we should have.
when I built that garage up there, there was a house sitting there before. No one, it's capped, but no one came around. I didn't have to submit anything or anything like that.
And that's kind of the way it's always been.
Yes. Do we need to have a program to where you've gotta let people know a sewer line? I mean, it would bother me greatly if something got tore down. Do you know where every line is in this town? I don't.
Isn't there already a requirement in the county to do that?
Yes, sir. But not inside the city limits.
It doesn't apply to the city
No,
limits?
counties don't apply to
Is
city
that
limits.
I thought we had somewhat of an ordinance going on.
On what?
What I said is there's a requirement in
All
the
right,
county.
guys, we're gonna do one conversation at a time tonight while I'm in charge, all right?
Yes, sir.
I cannot hear 5 people at once.
Take charge.
On the capping of abandoned sewer lines.
It reads, all sewer and water lines shall be inspected and or tested by the superintendent or his or her representative before covering.
That's on an installation on a tap, I believe.
Just says it before covering. This applies applies both to new installation and repairs or replacement of existing lines. When sewage lines are disconnected, the town requires the line be capped in a manner that meets approval of the superintendent or his or her representative. Is that your question?
Yeah, I thought there was an ordinance,
And it says the superintendent shall be notified at least 48 hours in advance of covering the lines. The property owner can be required to uncover the line if they are already covered before inspection at the property owner's expense and a fine of $200 for non-compliance.
Right, and we talked about it, and the issue was that, you know, it's not, the town's not being told when it's being done. It's gonna have to be your folks, Doug, or you, that's telling somebody, or Steve, that it's getting, hey, there's somebody tearing down a property, house burned out, whatever, and let somebody know. I mean, if you want the ordinance officer to know that.
we do try to let them know. I think, you know, I think the follower of the ordinance officer possibly,
Right.
to make sure that it is, and he's got it documented. And then, I don't know that he would
But
want.
you've got to inspect.
Yeah, I don't know that he would want to inspect it. I feel like one of my departments should be
Right.
inspected.
That's right, but if somebody at least knows they're doing it, I mean, you guys are ones gonna have to go out there and look. If they've done it already and it's covered, and which shouldn't have been, then I think then you need to get the ordinance guy to go over there and sign them, the ordinance, and tell them they need to uncover it again for you to look at it.
It's usually not a big expense. It's usually a phone call and PVC cap at the most.
Yeah, I remember discussing
On
it
a
before.
$200 for compliance.
And is it a one-time fine? Or they say, I'm just gonna pay the fine and not dig it up?
This says for
Then what
non-compliance.
happens?
It
We go
doesn't
dig
say.
it up and cap it and make sure.
I don't think we dig it, will they?
Says the property owner can be required to
Infiltrate, I'm
uncover
sure
the
it's
lines.
still gonna, I mean, if they've not done it, and they say, I'll just pay the $200 fine, it's not worth the expense of digging it up, proving you.
Yeah.
There's-
We can't allow for all contingencies.
That's why we can have our attorney send the letter in and maybe.
Absolutely.
It does say the penalty, any person who shall continue any violation beyond the time limit, blah, 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 it says it cannot exceed 500. So there is a penalty.
If it happens, we'll change it to 25K. Change. That's not,
Put that in the sidewalk fund.
yeah, put it aside.
Any person found to be violating, notice stating the nature of the violation, providing a reasonable time limit for the satisfactory correction thereof. So you give them a warning to, it looks like, and then they have
So
to.
it's there, we just gotta watch.
Anytime they come in, they come in and say, hey, I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that, I always just say, it's not required, but fill out the permit to this, just to let the council be aware. And that came in today, that they're gonna be building a new home. So, and
Can
then
you
he
open
said, hey, and can Doug come out and tell me where the line is, because I can't find him. So is that?
You can the water meter. Now, the sewer line not capped or marked, where it runs on the property, we don't know.
But I think, isn't this kind of the same thing, what you're talking about? They're taking,
Used to be a modular,
not marked.
sit there
Mhm.
on Cooper Street.
Yeah.